Hi, I'm Patty Blue Hayes, author, coach, and your guide to blossoming beyond heartbreak and cultivating hope as you sow the seeds of healing. Dealing with the holidays after the death of someone you love can be exceptionally challenging. It seems to magnify the grief, and the loss can feel overwhelming. And if your loved one's death was sudden and unexpected, the level of shock skyrockets. You may have had your typical holiday plans in mind and were looking forward to seeing that person in a few days or weeks, and then get news that they're gone. Our brains have a hard time dealing with such conflicting inputs, and our hearts just feel broken. We can feel like we're falling apart. That's a normal part of grief, to feel like you're coming undone. Even a loss of a loved one that's expected after a long illness can feel unreal when they die. Their condition of being in bed or in a nursing home or hospital became normal, as did their health deterioration. And likely there were many close calls when they took a turn for the worst, but then rallied back. Don't be surprised if you feel the disbelief and shock of their death. It's all part of this complex and nuanced process of grief. However you lost your loved one, you need some coping strategies for getting through the holidays. Let's talk about 3 more ways that you might find helpful as you try to get through the holiday season. 1. Communicate with others. Sharing your feelings and your specific needs with friends and family is important during your grieving in order to minimize assumptions. People can often assume they think they know what's best for you, so by being clear with them, you can reduce misunderstandings, which will create an environment of understanding and empathy and will ensure you get the support you need. By communicating your needs, you are taking control during a time when life feels chaotic and uncertain. This simple act of stating what your needs are can be empowering and may benefit your emotional well-being during your grief. Grieving can feel very isolating, but by communicating your needs, you're building a support system and fostering connection with other people who want to support you but may not know how, which may cause them to avoid you during the time when you need them the most. It's not that they don't love you and want to help, but if they haven't had someone they love die, they truly have no idea what you're going through. Let them know what you need, whether it's emotional or practical support. Your needs may change suddenly, and by expressing what those needs are to those who love you, you're helping to create less stress. And sometimes when we have no idea what we need, a good cry and some hugs can get us through those moments that feel so empty. In my experience with grief, I feel it's important to slow down, tune into my heart and intuition before making any decisions on what to do. There were times when I tried to rush through grief, likely thinking I could speed up the whole process. But I've learned if we don't give ourselves time to grieve properly, it will come visit us at a later date. 2. Engage in new activities. Consider doing something new and different during the holidays. This doesn't mean completely changing what has been your tradition, but incorporating some new element can give a bit of breathing space during a time that may feel so heavy from the traditional ways because it emphasizes the loss of the person who died. Creating some new activity acknowledges the changes in your life. Grief forces us to adapt and change, but we often want to grip tightly to the past, as if we could bring it back. Give yourself permission to do something new and different. This can be something you do on your own or an activity with your family or friends. Please help me continue to create these videos by subscribing to my channel if you find this content valuable. 3. Join a support group. Connecting with others who are going through similar experiences can provide a sense of understanding and shared support. It can help us not feel so alone in the world, that there are other people going through grief and know how we feel. If you don't feel comfortable attending an in-person support group, find one online. It can be a formal group run by an organization or facilitator, or even a social media group can give you a sense of connection. If you do join a group on social media, make sure you understand the privacy settings on the group. You may not want your friends to see what you're sharing in a public group. I've attended both in-person and online groups and have found them to be incredibly valuable. After I'd lost my mom, I attended a group that were mostly older women who'd lost their husbands. It gave me such comfort being in the presence of women who were like my mom. We had different types of loss, but there are universal aspects to grief that only those who are going through it can understand. Grief is a process. Thankfully, it's not a permanent state. Though with traumatic losses, there are very complex dynamics in place. You may not feel like you'll ever feel joyful again because you've lost someone you love, but time and intention have a way of bringing our hearts the healing they need in order to embrace life again. Be patient with yourself and trust the process as you take small steps toward healing. Grief, like the seasons, evolves, and each stage brings its own unique challenges and beauty. Winter may represent the depths of sadness. Let your memories be the sunlight that bathe the winter garden in warmth.